What year you gonna start my history trip to America?
Well, let's start from the beginning.
Well, 1955.
1955 is where you're going to start? I identify as a Greek American, and my frequent visits to Greece has prompted me to refer to both Greece and the United States as my home place. However, on a recent trip home from college, I grew curious about my link between the two countries. I wondered about my family's immigration story from Greece to the United States. So, I decided to interview my grandma, also known as Yaya, and learn about the journey that will forever link my Greek-American family to both countries.
I'm gonna start my story. What reason I came to America?
She starts her story by telling me of her Theo, also known as Uncle, and she discusses how her uncle was part of the Greek Navy. And while serving during World War II, his ship went down. Him and some others drifted the ocean for a few days until they were eventually spotted and taken to a hospital in Brooklyn, New York. There, he met his wife, who was Greek-American, and it wasn't actually until some time later that he actually returned to Greece to visit his family after the war. While visiting Greece, it was suggested that my Yaya, one of his most beloved nieces, come to visit him and his wife in America.
So we're gonna take Ellie, me, just for 6 months to see the America and just come with us to bring him back. Always I know America by the films or the movies. One day I went to Athens to spend the weekend with my cousins because we have a lot of relatives there. And my brother came and said, Ellie, come home because you get a letter, you go to America. And I was surprised to America. I thought she teasing me. And I went home. And my parents tried to find out what the letter says. We find somebody, the immigration, Greek American immigration in Athens. They tell us, well, she could go because you have 6 children, and now you lost your business in the Second World War.
Initially, she had trouble getting a green card to go to the United States, but after about a year of trying, she finally got permission to go.
So, we communicate with Aunt Anango. They said, yeah, we're gonna send the papers and get her the passport so she can come. Only 6 months. She's not gonna stay long. They already prepared me to come to America. I got the passport. I got the okay. I get in the car. I get in the ship. The hug, mom, he buy me nice clothes, all this kind of stuff. Big party, say goodbye to my friends, to high school girls, all. My grandparents at that time was alive, crying. Why did that? Why did you send your daughter to America? There's no reason to send your daughter to America.
How old were you?
I was that time 20, yeah. So then I get in the boat, and my father with the ferry followed me, with all my friends there, with all my relatives there, to say goodbye to me. And the big ship get out, the big ship, like a cruise ships. Slowly get out from the island, and my father's boat to the ferry follow to the part of. Everybody's crying. I was crying too. And I remember my sister Maria, she was last time I saw her. She was crying before she died.
Maria, my Yaya's eldest sister, later passed away from leukemia. My Yaya goes on to talk about her 10-day boat cruise, how the ship was like a floating city to her, and one could do anything they could possibly imagine. One of her favorite things to do was to sit on some chairs and just read. And one day she met someone.
Next, the church, the salt day, warm day, I saw somebody sitting there. It was Papu Tim, my husband. He was, yes, hello, the Spinis. Πού πάτε εσείς? Where are you going? I said, in New York. How about you? Chicago. I said, Chicago? The ship goes to Chicago? I didn't know better. I said, no, I'm going to get the train from New York to go to Chicago. Why are you going to America? Who says talking? He says, I'm going to university. I have an uncle there. But I tend to go to university there for education. But how about you? I'm going to visit my uncle and my aunt. Just about 6 months, we'll go back to Greece.
They continued to talk during their time on the boat, and even exchanged addresses so they could stay in touch after they arrived in America. And they did. They did stay in touch. After staying in America for a few more months, Mayaya's eldest sister unfortunately passed away, and not soon after that her uncle passed away, so she returned to Greece.
So me, I stay a year to Greece. At that time, continue mail to Tim. Okay? Secret from my mom.
During that year, their relationship continued to grow.
One time I go with my father to Athens to shopping. I don't remember, for my cousins. I don't remember the reason. My father says, come upstairs in the wheel room, the control, he's a captain. I went upstairs and says, Ellie, tell me, why you want to come back to America? I says, I don't want to go back to America, but I met a guy. He writes letters to me, and I keep a secret from my mom, because my father, he was very, very close to me. I can tell secret to him. But mom, he was strict. Anyway, I told about the guy, Timmy, and he says, well, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You're going to wait for him. If he still like you and you like him, we meet the parents and we talk about it. He was very logical, ο μπαμπάς. Μα η μαμά τίποτα. Μόλις ο μπαμπάς το έβρισε τη μαμά αμέσως. He took the μαμά αμέσως. Τη μαμά μου. My mom cried, I lost one daughter with leukemia, and now I'm going to lose the fight with my father. I says, and anyway.
The parents met and discussed the relationship of their children after a few more letters were sent and a lot more convincing was done.
And I saw one woman coming with the custom of Lefkada, beautiful, like a bride. Not bride, the custom, the Greek custom. They were in the island, I have that. With luludia things. I knew we were there. So they came and asking, they have a lot of relatives in Athens, some relatives with Athens. And they came and they talked to my parents, who get a engaged party. But that time, my husband sent me the ring.
After both families agreed to marriage, Mayaya waited in Greece for her soon-to-be husband to finish his education. He ended up writing to Mayaya sometime after and expressed his concern that pursuing his education may take longer than expected, and that Mayaya should just come to America and they should just get married there. So she did.
That happened. I come back with my aunt, come back to New York. Tim, he came to New York with his brother, because at that time his brother came to study too also. They both came to, brother and Tim, they came to New York.
Mayaya and Papu then got married and moved to Chicago for my Papu to finish his education. During their marriage, after they started a family, they moved around a lot. However, they never actually made it back to Greece. The story of how my grandparents moved to the United States and fell in love has now become a central story to who I am today. This story links my two cultures. I am Greek American, and I will continue to identify both Greece and America as my home place.